Papoose was a good man from what I seen. I wish I had a good man like Papoose. Remy Ma now want Papoose back, and he done moved in with his new girlfriend. Now she gotta play the hand that she picked. That man waited for her like she was in jail.
Once celebrated for her fierce presence in the rap world, had always been known for her strength, independence, and fearlessness. But that day, none of these qualities could save her from the consequences of a rash decision. Remy had recently entered into a new relationship that seemed full of promise. Her new girlfriend, Vanessa, was everything Remy had wanted: confident, beautiful, and full of life. At first, everything felt exciting and passionate. But, as with most relationships, the initial excitement began to fade, and the cracks started to show. The couple began arguing more frequently. It started with small disagreements, but over time, these arguments grew in intensity. Remy, a woman who had fought her entire life for respect in a world that often felt unforgiving, struggled to find a balance between love and control. Vanessa, on the other hand, was not afraid to stand her ground. At first, this trait intrigued Remy, but it soon became a challenge she wasn't ready to lose. It was during one of these arguments that things took a drastic turn. The fight started over something trivial, as most arguments do: an offhand comment, a misunderstanding, or perhaps a little too much alcohol. But for Remy, it quickly escalated. Her emotions, already a mix of stress, jealousy,
in recent times, you're really not ready for this work. She said it's natural. She don't have to. Not even I like talking about fighting. Sometimes people be needing hands put on them. And I love.
An unresolved pain bubbled over. Words were exchanged, and before either of them knew it, the situation became violent. In the heat of the argument, Remy snapped. Her hands, which were used to writing powerful lyrics and gripping microphones, found their way to Vanessa's throat. She pushed her against the wall. The rage that had been building inside Remy for years took over, and she wasn't thinking. She wasn't calculating or in control. The room seemed to spin as her anger intensified and her grip tightened. Vanessa struggled, her fear evident in her eyes, but Remy's hold was unforgiving. It wasn't until Vanessa cried out in pain that Remy seemed to snap back to reality. The weight of what she had done hit her in an instant. She let go, stepping back, her chest heaving with a mix of disbelief and rage. What had she just done? What had she become? Vanessa gasped for air and stumbled backward, her hands clutching her neck as she tried to collect herself. Her voice trembled as she spoke. You can't just do that. You can't hurt me, Remy." Remy stood frozen, her body stiff with shock. The room felt smaller, the walls closing in as guilt started to fill her chest. But there was no time to process. The damage had already been done. Vanessa, shaken and terrified, scrambled to grab her phone and called the police. It didn't take long before the sound of sirens filled the streets, drowning out the chaos that had just unfolded in that apartment. Remy was arrested immediately. Her hands were cuffed behind her back, her mind still reeling from the events. She couldn't believe this was happening. She had always prided herself on being a strong woman, but in that moment she felt powerless. The flashing lights in front of her blurred her vision, and the cold steel of the handcuffs felt like a symbol of her self-imposed prison. Vanessa, still trembling, watched as Remy was led away. A part of her wanted to scream, to cry, to run after her. But she knew deep down that what had just happened could never be undone. The trust had been shattered, and the fear would linger long after Remy was gone. The courtroom in the weeks that followed was somber. The trial had captured public attention, with people wondering how a woman who had once been the queen of rap, who had risen from the streets to fame, could end up in such a devastating situation. Remy's lawyers argued that the incident was just a moment of passion that had gotten out of control, a fight between lovers that had escalated. But the evidence was clear: Vanessa's bruises, witnesses who had heard the shouting, and most damning of all, Remy's own confession. The media pounced on the story, dissecting every detail. It became the headline of the day, with social media exploding with opinions. Some defended Remy, while others condemned her actions. But none of that mattered in the end. The damage had been done, and the consequences were unavoidable. When the judge delivered the verdict, it was clear that Remy would pay a heavy price for her actions. She was sentenced to several years in prison, a sentence that felt like a lifetime to someone who had once seemed untouchable. The life she had built, the fame, the fortune,
What I think about Pap and Remy, I think that is very unfortunate, you know what I'm saying? Because I like them too. Very unfortunate, but you know, we don't be knowing what folk be going through behind closed doors, so we don't know what really happened. I remember I spoke on that one time, but I don't know what really happened. You know what I'm saying, what made everybody move the way they were moving. But I know about it, man. Like, shit's crazy. I know about this marriage shit's hard. But I know one thing, like that, you gotta have the right person. If you have the right person, it won't be so hard. It'll be like living life. Regular ups and downs, but you get with somebody that ain't right, but that shit's gonna tear your up. And you gonna wish you ain't never did that shit, and you probably, if you ain't strong enough, you probably ain't gonna never do it again. But I'm gonna do it again one day. I ain't doing no court.
Put it this way, if I was in your shoes, they would say, Kirk, you deserve that shit. That's the shit you extra shit. They would talk shit about me, and you know what? Dude, I love the fact they love you, nigga. Love you, bro, because you did with a lot of with new.
Admiration crumbled in an instant. It was all gone. Behind bars, Remy faced the hardest challenge of her life. The isolation was suffocating, and the silence was deafening. She had spent years building a reputation for toughness, but in the cold, unforgiving reality of prison, there was no room for pride or ego. Remy was forced to confront the darkest parts of herself, the anger she had bottled up for so long, the pain she had tried to outrun, and the regret that gnawed at her soul. As the days passed, Remy began to change. The rawness of her emotions, once a shield, could no longer protect her. She had hurt someone she loved, and no amount of money, fame, or admiration could undo that. Remy spent her time reflecting, writing, and trying to come to terms with the person she had become. Her rage, once a source of power, had destroyed everything she had worked for. In the quiet of her prison cell, Remy had no choice but to face the consequences of her actions. She knew she would never be the same again. The life she had known, the red carpets, the crowds, the fame was gone. But more importantly, she had lost something far more precious: trust. She had lost the trust of her fans, her friends, and most painfully, the trust of Vanessa, the woman she had once loved. Remy's story became a tragic lesson, a cautionary tale about the dangers of unchecked emotions and living a life without consequence. She had learned the hardest way possible that no amount of strength or fame could protect her from the weight of her own actions. In that cold, lonely cell, Remy began the painful journey of redemption, hoping that one day she could return to the person she once was and perhaps, just perhaps, find a way to make things right. Meanwhile, Papoose, a man known for his calm demeanor and unwavering loyalty to his wife, Remy Ma, found himself in an emotional moment no one could have predicted. The news hit him like a ton of bricks. Remy had been awarded $30 million in spousal support. This wasn't just a financial victory, it was a defining moment in their relationship, one that left Papoose in disbelief and overwhelmed with emotion. Over the years, the couple had endured many challenges: the music industry, legal battles, and personal struggles. Through it all, Papoose had remained by Remy's side, never wavering in his belief in her strength and their future together. Even when she was in prison, his loyalty never faltered. But now, with the legal battle behind them, the $30 million seemed almost surreal. In the quiet of their home, Papoose couldn't help but break down. These weren't tears of sadness or anger. They were tears of relief and pride. He had always believed in Remy's potential to rise above any obstacle life threw at her. This victory wasn't just a legal one. It was a testament to her resilience, her talent, and the undeniable strength of their love. Yet, in that moment, Papoose realized that even the strongest people need time to process the weight of their journey. He had supported Remy through her lowest moments, and now, seeing her rise again, he couldn't help but feel an overwhelming sense of pride. However, not long after their victory, a storm erupted that brought them back into the public eye. Remy, Massachusetts, sparked major drama when she accused Papoose of cheating on her with none other than boxing champion Clarissa Shields. The accusations took the internet by storm, and of course Kirk Frost couldn't resist jumping into the situation. He wasn't shy about standing up for Papoose, calling him a man of composure and strength, especially as Remy had allegedly wronged him by getting close to other men, including rappers. Kirk didn't hold back and labeled Remy as toxic, accusing her of playing the innocent victim when, in fact, she had set Papoose up for public humiliation while being guilty of the very same thing she accused him of. Remy, as expected, fired back quickly, responding to Clarissa's jab about her age by claiming, "I'm not 45 yet, but you're 29, and I'll just say this, you're not aging like wine, honey." She also kept it cheeky, telling Clarissa, "Tell your boyfriend to buy you some flowers and gifts." He didn't even answer his phone because he was with his side girl this week. But the drama didn't end there. Papoose, who had stayed quiet for months, finally broke his silence. He posted on social media, expressing his frustration. Sad to say, Remy Massachusetts is a narcissist. She chose to cheat repeatedly. Now that I've moved on, she's playing the victim. I've asked for a divorce numerous times, but she'd rather chase clout on social media than handle this like adults. Papoose went on to explain that he had kept quiet for the sake of their daughter, but after Remy continued to slander him, he had no choice.
About so many women in here, and the women always talking bad about the guys. And then Pat, it's none of my business, but I get talked about all the time, and I'm just saying, if he went and this and this and this, and his reward to me is bad, but this ain't my business, but I feel like, God damn, bro, I feel bad for him. You put it this way, if I was in your shoes, they would say, Kirk, you deserve that shit. They would talk shit about me, and you know what? Dude, I love the fact they love you, niggas. Love you, bro, because you did with a lot of wouldn't do. Seriously, love you that. That's your, you got a lot of respect to the street. I'm keeping it on it. Women, y'all have showed y'all in a very bad way. Okay, well, at least the women too. That's what I'm saying. Cause y'all always
social media, the women are riding with Papoose.
But even when I say shooters off the 12 months,
choice but to speak out. He even shared a photo of Remy getting cozy with Easy the Block captain. Papoose didn't stop there. He went on to say, now that I've moved on, she's mad and making up lies. I told her we could divorce like adults, but she refuses because I won't lie and say I didn't knock this chump out. I still have messages of her begging me to lie about the knockout, but who cares? He didn't throw one punch back. Last time I saw this chump, he was in the fetal position. Everybody saw it. When Remy accused Papoose of moving on too quickly with a new girlfriend, the internet went wild. Fans quickly rallied behind Papoose, calling out Remy for her toxic behavior. People pointed out that Papoose didn't deserve the drama Remy was causing. Just when things couldn't seem to get any crazier, Kirk Frost stepped in, throwing his weight behind Papoose. He didn't just show support for his friend, he threw serious shade at Remy, accusing her of playing the innocent victim despite everything she had done to Papoose. It's safe to say that Remy wasn't handling this situation well. While fans and fellow celebrities were throwing their support behind Papoose, others were calling Remy bitter and accusing her of playing a double standard. After all, she had cheated, too, albeit with a battle rapper, and yet she was angry when Papoose moved on with someone else. It was clear that, deep down, Remy couldn't stand seeing Papoose happier than she was. In the end, the situation was ugly for both parties, but it was also clear that the marriage had run its course. The emotional toll on both Remy and Papoose was evident, and with all the drama continuing to unfold, it was apparent that a divorce was inevitable. Papoose, for his part, had tried to be a gentleman throughout, but Remy's behavior was only making it worse. Fans hoped that Remy would finally sign those divorce papers and allow Papoose to move on with his life, free of the chaos she had created. What do you think? Did Remy treat Papoose fairly? Or is there more to this than meets the eye? It's easy to see the double standards here, and the situation has certainly sparked a lot of conversation. Let me know what you think in the comments below. It was a typical day, but little did anyone know that it marked the beginning of a storm that would change everything for Remy Ma. The streets of New York were alive with the usual energy, but beneath the surface, there was tension brewing, a storm ready to explode. Remy.
Pap and Remy. I think that is very unfortunate, you know what I'm saying? Because I like them too. Very unfortunate, but you know, we don't be knowing what folk be going through behind closed doors, so we don't know what really happened. I remember I spoke on that shit one time, but I don't know what really happened. You know what I'm saying? What made everybody move the way they were moving. But I know about it, man. Like, shit's crazy. I know about this marriage shit is hard. But I know one thing, like that, you gotta have the right person. If you have the right person, it won't be so hard. It'll be like living life. Regular ups and downs, but you get with somebody that ain't right, but it's just gonna tear your up. You gonna wish you ain't never did that shit. You probably, if you ain't strong enough, you probably ain't gonna never do it again. But I'm gonna do it again one day. I ain't